What was the hardest song to write, and what was the easiest song to write on this album?
Oh, God.
But I love you like you need me to. Imperfect for you. You don't wanna hear me. One more sleepless night.
I'm my most productive when I am open, and also when I pretend no one's ever going to hear it.
Didn't we? So I grab my stuff.
Flash mob music for sure. So far.
You kind of crave when you grow up the happily ever after. The one is the one is the one. So you ignore all these issues and you kind of you cling on to that fairy tale.
I still be your lover. Would you want me there?
And how that has to do with her growth. That is cute to say that the love is that you're experiencing is supernatural. Intro on top of the world. I can tell that Ari went through a lot of growth on this album, just listening to the story from track by track in its order. A lot of the lyrics reflect her going through painful times.
How can I tell if I'm in the right relationship? Aren't you really supposed to know that shit?
She sat with her feelings and she looked deep within, and there was a lot of introspection. You'll see me pop in between interview clips of her talking about the album with Zach Sang and others.
But it was hard for the reason that I desperately didn't want it to sound like a fuck you. I wanted it to sound like I need to leave, so bye.
And I'd imagine that the step before even allowing us to hear this body of work is she had to get real with herself. She had to get comfortable in her vulnerability. She had to get comfortable in her truth. And I think she hit a very crucial part of her evolution, of her story, of her journeys, that she stepped in this era of being a carefree person. And that has a lot of risk.
Don't care. I'd rather tell the truth than make it worse for you.
In the end, he will appreciate you more for it, for sure.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like any sort of harshness that isn't in my DNA.
Could I be the one in your mind, oh my?
It's a pretty intro. That's pretty. That's pretty. I got no negative thoughts. Very, very Disney-like. I felt like I was at Disney World with the harmonies. I can tell this is going to be a very well-constructed album vocally. I think it's going to be a strong, vocally produced album. And anything else that I get in addition to that is a plus. But I came here for the harmonies. I'm not going to lie. I came here for the harmonies and the pretty music. When I go to Ari, I go to Ari to feel pretty. I'm not going to lie to you. It's an ugly world. It's an ugly world. It's an evil world we live in. I go to Ari to feel great. I go to Ari to feel that sunshine. Speaking of the Eternal Sunshine, like what was y'all doing? Ari fans, why was y'all attacking Janae for posting that, you know, that her album was called Eternal Sunshine, which it was? What's the beef? What's the beef? Is it apparently the boy's mine? Is it you know, is it over Sean? Can't be over Big Sean. She's been like 4 relationships since Big Sean. It can't be that. Y'all let me know. I don't know what that's about. Leave Janae alone, man. You know what I mean?
It asks a question that is sort of takes accountability and is self-aware, and then going into bye is like prefacing it.
I can't believe I'm finally moving through my fears.
Okay, all right. I heard in an interview, I don't know if it was Zane Lowe or Zach Sang. However, I did hear her say that she's been through a lot of shit, and that this is the first album that she's made that she enjoyed recording. That was hard for me to really grasp. I'm like, you didn't even like recording positions? That was such a fun album to listen to. But, you know, I can tell she's been through a lot.
At least I know how hard we tried, both you and me.
And in order to connect with this emotion and be true to herself and be an authentic songwriter, it starts with herself, and being real with herself, she's able to connect with others and deliver this message and this story in the most authentic version that she could possibly be.
Like, I wanted it to be kind of rooted in self-awareness and like not fuck you, you go, but with love.
Bye bye, I'm taking what's mine. Yeah. Bye bye, it's over.
Taking what's mine, like you taking someone else's man, or like what you are you taking back? That could mean anything, Ari. Like you taking back. Okay, here's what I'm being all serious right now. I was going to crack a joke, but Are you just reclaiming the power, just that to not care about what people have to say? You're reclaiming your image, your name, and just, not giving a fuck. I'm thinking that's the base of this album. I know you're not talking about taking another woman's man. I know you're not. No, you're not saying that. At least I hope not.
But just turn the music up. Maybe someday we'll look back with love. Didn't think you'd lose me.
I want to have the strength to say bye kindly when something isn't fucking right.
Now it's certainly bittersweet.
That's sweet. I like that. Was that a key change? Fucking with the chord progression. I am. You know what I noticed? I noticed a lot of the pop girlies exiting the Panini are making albums meant to dance again and feel good. Like I'm really into the songwriting and just like the emotion. And not to say that she's not going to give me a lot of emotion on this album. She probably will. But with Yes and the two other songs that I've heard so far, I'm thinking that, I saw the snippet that Kaylani posted, the Nina Sky snippet, and I think it's just a lot of the pop girlies. They just want to dance. They just want to make music to go out and have fun with their girls too, and just have a great time. You know what I mean? Victoria Monet is very much so R&B, but Jaguar 2 is a dance album. So it's like a lot of the things that are within the pantheon of pop right now. I expect Dua Lipa to do the same. It's going to be a lot of groovy music, a lot of dance-centric music, because we're looking for an escape right now.
Also, a disco track, which is my mom's favorite thing in the world. So it kind of feels like my mom's song, or like something that I wrote from my mom's perspective almost.
I'm liking that. I'm liking that so far.
Like, Don't Wanna Break Up Again is kind of like the hangover of Bye in a way.
I love the drowned out, reverberated vocal sitting at the top of the intro. It's kind of just floating. I like that. I like how Bye and I Don't Want to Break Up Again have a sequential progression to them in both theme and sonics.
Because in Bye, I say, at least we know we tried, didn't we? The two of us, we did good. And then in Don't Want to Break Up Again, it's like, well, you didn't even try till the end. You did look like.
I fall asleep crying. You turn up the TV.
Definitely in the realm of like a Brandy influence for sure. I love the subject matter and how she's talking about she's working on her codependency issues by going to therapy.
This situation should last the end. I don't wanna break up again, baby.
It's like, okay, that this has happened, but I'm reflecting.
But if you was a situationship, you was never in a relationship to break up. Just fade out, Ari. Get the fuck up out of there, man. Don't let that man waste your time. Or if this applies to you're a dude watching this and you're dating a dude or a woman, either or. We don't discriminate over here. And man, go ahead and leave that relationship, man. I mean that situationship. It ain't a relationship. Just go ahead. If you want to ghost and block, go and do that. It's a situationship. You don't owe him shit. You don't owe him a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? I hate how non-commitment has been so popularized amongst my generation and younger. This shit is sickening. And I say that in the same breath to say you don't owe nobody shit. But like, what the fuck is a situationship? Who came up with that lame shit? Who came up with somebody's putting in more work and receiving all the benefits while the other person does not receive shit? You know what I mean? And why am I okay with that shit? That shit blows me. It really does. It blows me.
I made it so easy. Spent so much on therapy.
All that is great. However, I have a slight disconnect. While I love the color and pop that the airy and light vocals delivered by Ari present to the record, the disconnect lies in, because it's such a deep subject matter, the delivery feels very guarded, not emotionless, just protected, which can give it a feeling of carelessness depending on the listener. And they may not necessarily believe she feels the way she does. Her vocal classification. She is a lyric soprano. They describe her vocal tone as fast, ethereal, and high. Yeah, that would make sense.
So we say goodbye. Just one kiss goodbye. With tears in our eyes.
Max Martin and company is going crazy on the production. And it can give it a feeling of well, what one man won't do, another will. I'll move on regardless of how I or anyone feels about it. Bright chords, upbeat production seems to be the theme surrounding whatever Ari lays on top of. Like whatever she brings in terms of harmonies, in terms of just the vocal type, the range. It seems like they're building records around how she wants to express and bend her voice. I think the voice is leading it versus the topic. What stands out to me the most in Ariana Grande's music is the voice. So they build around the voice.
Massive thing that I learned in my year of Saturn return is that my fears of replicating a certain cycle was actually the opposite.
They're doing that shit. I'm tired of waking up and sorting out who I really am. I'm sick of it. I need a break. There's a lot of themes on this album about astrology and how that has to do with her growth.
Eternal Sunshine feels like a wake-up moment, sort of like a pivotal moment in the story. And the Saturn returns coming right before it, just kind of with the wake up. It tells you to wake up. I don't know. It just felt like setting up the rest of the album in a way.
And learning from these type of stages in her life so that she does not get lost in these stages, and so she does not get lost in these moments to become bigger than herself, and that she can stay grounded and level-headed and still have love for what she's doing and have love for the person that she's growing into. Hold on, bro. You were just complaining about him lying. Now you talking about you showed me all your demons and all your lies. Why are you mad about me lying if you showing your lies too? Nah, Ori, you might be running away from accountability, but you did say that you said you were sorry. But I don't know, all this great singing can't escape you from accountability. We gonna hold you accountable. We gonna hold you accountable. That's all, folks. We gonna hold you accountable over here. You feel me? You have to be okay with allowing any person with a mic and a phone to have these opinions about you, and sometimes they're mean and cruel. I hope you feel all right when you're in her. Why are you thinking about that? All right, like why is that even crossing your mind? Now I ain't gonna lie. Damn. I know, never mind. I'm tripping. That does cross my mind. And should I go into detail? Bruh, like sometimes like you call whoever you're talking to is very toxic. If you're in this, get out of this. You call somebody and they don't answer you, like I bet they are fucking somebody. I know it. She's chilling, feet out. He's giving her feet a massage. They're sitting by the fireplace and they're watching a movie. Her hair is in a tie, and I'm like, all right, okay, never mind. Ari, I take it back. I do. I've thought about weird shit like that. I found a good boy, now he's on my side. It's crazy. It's crazy because you stole him. That's why it's crazy. You stole him. Maybe you didn't. Nah, you stole that man. Let's keep it a bean, man. Let's keep it a bean. Why wasn't he on the side of saving his family? Don't take me serious, Ari fans. I'm sorry. Let's make up. I apologize. My bad. Maybe she is really. I don't know the full story. Okay, I'll extend the olive branch. My bad. All right. Let you play me like a now it's like I'm looking in a mirror. I think she took this album and used it as a vehicle to get this music out. She's always been a talented musician and talented person, but get this music out to connect with other people who are going through similar things. Max Martin understood the assignment for the most part. And company, he's obviously not the only. There's not one singular producer in pop music that works on albums. So,
do you believe that The Right Love is actually supernatural?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Nah, that response Ari gave Zach is crazy. If I was Zach, boy, I would have been like, what do you mean? This is your lyric. You ain't say this. I came prepared. You don't remember this. Pay all this money to T-Mobile. Nobody texts me. Nobody's checking for me. It's quite sad. That's some loser ass shit I just said. Pro Tools session is stacked with vocal stacks. Multiple tracks. Mids, highs, melody, like chose herself over staying in said relationship and the times where she stayed. And even though it may have not been right, that's clear. And you have to go through those bouts with like, okay, you think I'm the villain, you think that I'm the bad person in the story and that I deserve all the accountability.
I'll play the villain if you need me to. I know how this goes, yeah.
You're not beating the mean girl allegations if you know how this goes. Or maybe you're used to dating men that play the victim, so maybe I could interpret it that way.
This is a true story about all the games I know you play.
Some Timbo type, Missy type influence on this for sure. Her influence for this album is early 2000s, with the no, even including Yes and early 2000s in 90s R&B and pop, both from the really mid to late 90s, some of the early 2000s as well. But damn, we have that fascination. Our generation and younger has that nostalgic factor. We will not let go of the 90s. So I understand that, like, why we have such a strong grip on that. I mean, we were raised on that, but also like a lot of people are not really given the luxury to try something different. Like, if you heard something very experimental from Ari, would you appreciate it? A select few of you will let her just be her. But for the most part, I feel like she has to deliver on a sound that many people expect from her. And a lot of people expect maybe this, just very light, airy pop. Nothing too dark. That's not her brand. She's the cute girl. You know what I'm saying? Not to say it's not executed right. I'm just saying we just will not relinquish that grasp we have on the 90s. We may not ever. And that's a little depressing. Because there's only so many ways that you can do nostalgia before it gets plain. Before it gets real copy and paste played out. But I'm cool with the Ari album so far. I'm cool with it. I don't know how you feel about it. You'll let me know. I'm cool with it. There's not a lot of risk on this album. There isn't a sound that I haven't already heard from Ari or just a million other pop girls and R&B girls. But it's cool. It's not trash by no means. But it's not something that I personally can see myself going back to. But if it's on at Target, if it's on in the mall, I'll do a little bop to it. But so far, it's like, it's cool. It's cool so far. Some nice belting. I like that. Yeah, mix the belt in with the airiness. I need that.
Good.
I'm such a 90s baby. I have so many like 90s interpolation ideas, samples in my brain. But no, this one finally found a home. I wanted it to come after True Story on the track list because that song plainly says, like, I'll play the bad girl if you need me to. Great. I'll do it here. And here's an example.
If you're not my era, you're not gonna remember Cousin Skeeter. But look up Cousin Skeeter, listen to the theme song of it, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But this is real. This is real. You know what I mean? She's really a Nickelodeon child. No pun intended, because obviously she was. Obviously. That's also why I'm not mad at it, because this is my favorite era, because I grew up in this era. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. But I'm not going to be disappointed if it doesn't live up to the original of The Boy's Mind. I'm not going to be disappointed at all.
Something about him is made for somebody like me.
It's deep.
And I also think it just kind of sets the tone by saying everyone has shit going on that you don't know about, and we know that too, you know?
Totally.
So just shh.
Even though it was necessary to talk about the storyline surrounding this album and all of the drama that hit the media, that didn't necessarily eclipse the music on this album, but definitely gave naysayers and other people that may paint Ariana in a certain way to have a preconceived notion about her. And I've seen tweets that's just like, She may be a shitty person, but at least she's giving us bangers, right?
I think yes and is the right thing to just say, hey, we're all experiencing the same kind of journey in a different way, on a different level, on a different this. And I liked it because it's also just expressing a whole bunch of feelings that I've had for the past forever of my career. I wanted it to be something that everyone could relate to. It can be whoever you want it to be about.
Wanna feed this monstrous.
I like the string section towards the end of the record. Flash mob music at Disneyland. That's what the album feels like. I feel like Ari used that vehicle to communicate exactly what she's been feeling. Now, if you want to say it's propaganda and you still think she's a mean girl, that's on you to decide. It's on you to decide that what you got and how it was packaged, you have a right to feel if it was authentic or inauthentic. And she acknowledges that some of this music may be for us or may not be for us, but it's gonna make its way to the people that it's for. Crazy title. Very, very relatable. Probably the most relatable title on the album thus far.
Hoping life brings you no new pain.
That's nice. It's nice, Ari. I appreciate that.
And no matter how easy things could be if I did.
Oh. So you miss me. That's the theme of it. You miss me. You don't hate me. You miss me. I'm applying this as if the Ari was the person that I'm talking to. She's just representing something else. Like, this has nothing to do with Ari. You feel me? Like, but like it has everything to do with Ari, but nothing to do with Ari. You don't hate me. You wish you still had me. Girl, I miss you too. Just want you to say you miss me. What did you say you miss me?
And no matter how guilty, I still feel saying it.
But I think it's like a very important color to exist within the album because it's just an important piece of the puzzle to me. But I'm happy to acknowledge the goodness. I really am, and the efforts, and that it just was not correct. And I don't need to pretend that you're a monster to make peace with this ending.
I wish you were worse to me. Yeah, I wish I hated you.
Not been right, and that person can still be a good person.
It's like one of those records, like, we didn't work out and that's fine. Why can't we be cordial? Why can't we separate and no longer be together? Have growth like you did though. At the beginning of the record, you said, I wish for you to have no pain. That is very mature and grown of you. But it's okay that something didn't work out. While I had the time with you, we had a great time and it expired. Why can't we just say that?
We had on from the start. Wish there was worse to you. I wish you were worse to me.
And it's from a more aware and grieved place where it's like, oh, I can give credit and, make peace with this and not carry that version of you that I had when I was upset.
I'm more interested in her talking about her relationship with Max Martin, being the super producer, the titan, the legend that he is, and how they built a bond, an intimate bond, and how they saw each other as friends and they trusted each other as collaborators. I love how they have similar passion and love for music. I love how they both enjoy strings and vocal layering and vocal production. And I also like how she found a partner in that didn't allow her to force anything. If something is not there, don't force it. I like that. Don't overthink anything. Don't force it. I said earlier in the album that that's what I like, that type of vulnerability in songwriting. So I must appreciate Ari for giving that to me. I appreciate that. Even though it's just the album that I felt like, for lack of a better term, dance your sorrows away, or just ignore your trauma just for a little bit. But she gave me a balance of both, and I appreciate that. She gave me the dance, she gave me the vibes, but she also gave me the vulnerability. A lot of nuggets in there that showed growth, and to me, that's all I needed. I'm good after that. After that, everything else is a bonus. Everything else is a bonus. Okay. I hope y'all hear the entire review, because I hope sometimes stans, they'll take away some shit that sounds negative, but it's just me saying in a perfect world what I wanted that body of work to be to me. But this is not how I would make the album. This is how Ari made the album. And I comment on a lot of things that I like about the album and what I like about Ari. But sometimes people just hear, you're shitting on this, you don't understand or whatever. And maybe that's the truth, but you don't understand everything. You're not supposed to understand everything on first listen. You're just ridiculous for me to even expect, or even for you to expect of a reactor or a reviewer. I think that's fucking preposterous if you still think that way, feel that way. All these years of reactions later, and you still expect that out of a reactor or reviewer? That's crazy to me. Look at me. Look at me. Look. I come from two different worlds than you right now. There's no way you expected me and you to have the same perspective on this album. There's no way. I refuse to believe that you clicked on my black face on that thumbnail and thought, like, I think this is going to be the same perspective. Or you probably, I would hope you clicked on this thumbnail to be like, but I feel like this might be a different perspective, but let's see what he has to say. I hope it's the latter, you know? Let's go into Imperfect For You. My camera dying, all type of shit.
I don't know why it's my favorite. I think sonically it's my favorite. It's very different for me. It's very like trippy, rubber soul vibes. And that is kind of my favorite music to listen to. And I don't think I've ever really explored it for myself. But it just felt really fun to lean into it and make something like super trippy 60s organic feeling, you know, just capturing that kind of thing.
My love, they don't understand, but I'll hold your hurt in the box here beside me.
I also heard that she may not tour for this album. I feel like this is an album that you would tour. I feel like a lot of people that are in her demographic would find this music very relatable. So for her not touring, I'm not gonna say it's a disservice if she ends up doing an Adele thing where she has type of like a residency and you would see her for weekends on weekends, but she's acting, she's doing a makeup, all types of busy shit. But I feel like she should carve out some time to go touch the people for this album. That's just my opinion, you know? I think y'all deserve that. Y'all waited this long for this album. I feel like y'all should get to touch Ari. Not in a creepy way, but like, you know, like, it's different hearing the record than actually seeing them, and it's just like, oh, this is an actual person performing these records. This is not just a sentient being that I watch through my screen, or that I'm playing through a digital service provider that's only paying a fraction of a cent anyways to these artists. Like, it's better for the artist, and it's also better for you that you had that experience in person. But, you know, if Ari doesn't want to tour it, she doesn't want to fucking tour it. But, you know, I think it would be dope.
We crashed and we burned. Now I just can't go where you don't go.
I love how she talks about how intimate the sessions were. I like how she talked about how she took her time over several months. She would have periods where she would be writing alone with her laptop, and Max Martin would be in another room structuring the record. I like how she talks about what it's like getting the final mixes and putting something out into the world and creating something that didn't exist before. And I feel like Ari used that vehicle to communicate exactly what she's been feeling.
We do a lot of like stripping of humanness and erasure of context. And I think that even a simple lyric like Happy Disaster is like making space for all of that to exist within one song and one idea and one thought. And every moment of our lives contains multitudes of feelings, of thoughts, of good and bad, and wicked and goodness.
I met you, imperfect for you. Let's go tonight.
The melody on that is so dramatic. I like it. She's such a drama kid. Like, this, like, I feel like I know her. Not like that, but like I feel like I went to school with somebody like Ari. You feel me? That's why I kind of like I like it. I like it because it comes from like a place of familiarity. Like, I feel like I know this type of girl. You know?
There's just a few seconds left till tomorrow, but I love you like you need me to.
That is the highest form of love, is consideration. But also, it's hard to love from a broken place too. Like, to be feeling fucked up and loving, because at some point your battery is going to run low and you're going to feel like you're giving, and that's just the human experience. You're going to feel like you're giving and you're not being met your needs are not being met. It's hard to give from an empty cup. And it's hard to overexert yourself. I believe in mutual reciprocity. If somebody metaphorically lets their foot off the gas and they stop showing up for you, I don't think it's fair for you to show up for them entirely 100%. Now, if you care about that person, yeah, but that person can't expect you to do what you're not doing for them, or even do for you what they're not doing for themselves. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think that's a fantasy. And if it's reality, that has a time date on it. That has an expiration date on it. You're gonna get tired and you're gonna get checked out. You're gonna get burnt out, and you're gonna naturally withdraw from that person. Y'all gonna grow apart, because if you guys are not watering each other's plants and tending to each other's needs, eventually you're gonna withdraw. Or you're going to have a conversation about your needs not being met, and hopefully they'll respect it and be like, I can adjust. Now, if you have that conversation, which is going to be a conversation, it's going to be awkward. Or maybe not. Maybe you have an understanding partner, and that person is like, I understand where you're coming from. I didn't know you feel like that. Because oftentimes they may not even know that you're feeling that way. They may not know you're coming from a hurt place, because we hold so much within that we don't want to burden people. So if you're coming from already from that unselfish place, you don't want to burden them with what you're going through. But if you're feeling low, you're feeling low. And hopefully they'll be like, I feel you. But if you feel like you're not being appreciated, you should withdraw from the situation. You got Granny on the record. It's already my favorite record. We gonna throw that in there. Those are my top 3. Ordinary Things, Wish I Hated You, and Perfect for You. And I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I hope I wasn't too annoying. I try to make it a balance to where it's just like, I gave you something that I actually appreciate from Ari as a person and as a musician, but throw a little jokes in here and there. If they didn't land, it is what it is. But we come from 2 different walks of life, and it's okay. We have 2 different sense of humors, 2 different perspectives. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, that's that bounce. That's that bounce I was waiting on. Yeah. What the fuck is an omakase? What is an omakase? Oh, this is something I would like. I'm a pescatarian. That looks a little dutty. Hold on, what they doing right here? What they doing on the bottom left corner? This is actually very aesthetically pleasing. Ari getting some money. I didn't even know that existed before this reaction. We can hit up on the slopes in matching snowsuits. I like this record. I do. If you want to, we could spend every day. There's never gonna be an ordinary thing, no ordinary things for you. That's the one. That's the one. This might even be a single. She ain't pushing no other single other than Yes And. She said, y'all gonna sit down and y'all gonna hear this album from start to finish. Y'all not getting not a motherfucking more record, not nan one record until I drop this album. You're gonna sit down, listen to this album from start to finish. You're gonna shut up and you're gonna appreciate this body of work. But if I were to pick a second single, it's gonna be Ordinary Things for sure. And they would reconvene and they would put all the records together. I like how she talks about her love for vocal layering. I like how she talks about her inspirations and how I never knew it was like Mariah Carey meets Imogen Heap. And it makes sense with how she approaches pop music and how she approaches how ethereal her layering is. She said, how could you know if you picked the right partner? Never go to bed without kissing goodnight. That's the worst thing to do. And if you can't, that's the worst thing to do. And if you can't, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you're in the wrong place. Get out. Wise words from Granny.
It was like seeing daylight.
Beautiful album. Beautiful album. You know what I mean? All not even critiques. Just comments. There's nothing to critique for me on this album. I mean, no album's perfect, but I don't have any general critiques other than just like spots here and there. And even some of the critiques that I had earlier on the album, and even some critiques that I had earlier in the album, I got a lot of those things that I was requesting for. So I'm satisfied with this album. Let me know what you think in the comment box down below. See you in the next episode. Sweet.